On the board this morning, got a squirrel, and apparently I missed another one. I set up this, I kind of fixed up this little one-way trap, multi-trap, to catch them as they come out of the hole. Hopefully catch them and hold them in this, but the door got propped open. This is just something I made up yesterday to try to achieve that goal. Maybe that door will stay held down. So we got another squirrel here, and I actually came back by because I was worried about this kind of homemade trap area that I did, and I should have been, because the ends, this was open, so presumably there's still a squirrel inside down in the hole. Actually, I just realized that, just noticed that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can take that end cover off and open these up and put a 110 on each end and see if that'll solve the problem. Well, I agree with y'all that I think the island is a great place to sit, but apparently these cows haven't been fed or something, because they're all mobbing me after I came up here and walked around. So I don't think now is going to be the time to set it. I think I'm going to have to catch it after they get fed first thing in the morning or something. So I'm at the back of this property here. This fence line is the property line. So I come in through there, and I want to set something back here. I've ridden this fence line, and there's just nothing that screams out at me. You know, this corner down here, I didn't really see anything that I liked. There is there's an old chicken house. It's not being used right now. I don't know if it's regularly used or not, but I'm hesitant. I think that would be a good spot, but I hadn't talked to that neighboring landowner, and so I don't, that's awful close. If I set on the fence line up there, I don't want to run the risk of catching anybody's dogs or anything and ticking them off. So there's not been a whole lot on this fence line so far as, you can see it's a five strand fence, and that bottom strand is pretty darn low to the ground. I hadn't seen anything obvious where they've been coming under. You see right there, we got some deer hair, but just kind of following along, walking along, and there's some deer tracks. Look like a few deer jumping there, and then but you get to see, here's what we're looking for right there, and right there. And then you can look, this is the biggest gap in the fence. If you can see, that's probably 18 inches gap there. And this, to me, all that white hair, honestly, kind of looks like, to me that looks like deer hair. But this right here, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some of that that's tipped. It looks like a dark hair. It's got a little brown and a little black tip to it. To me, that screams to me, that seems to me coyote right there. So there's already deer crossing here. I got some tracks running this trail right along the edge. So this is not a conventional area where you say there's a major intersection, but there's definitely a trail coming out. You can see where some of the deer apparently are ducking under, but looks like most of them are jumping, and you can see where they're landing and feeding out into this field. So I'm going to put a couple sets right here, and I think we'll wind up wrapping up a coyote right here sometime. In Georgia, we can't snare, so a lot of people would be tempted to put a snare in the fence line. That's something we can't do in here. We're limited to foothold traps, so that's what I'm sticking with, and that's what I'm going with. So, and another, I'm always hesitant about using snares, just because nowhere that I trap is super remote, and a lot of folks got yard dogs and whatever, so you put a snare in that fence, and everybody, most people don't have a problem with you catching coyotes, but you catch somebody's dog and he's dead, then you got problems. So I don't have any experience snaring, but that's something I always keep in mind. Even if snaring is legal in your state, it's just like conibears, and to some extent footholds. The catch with conibears and snares is And typically, a lot of times, you're dealing with a dead animal instead of a live animal that you can release in a foothold. So, gotta use extra caution and be extra mindful when you're setting those. So I'm gonna punch in a couple sets right here, and I looked at the island, and yeah, I saw the cows mobbing me there, so that ain't gonna work right now. But there's another gate that I came through that I spotted a couple of tracks in. I'm hoping they're going to keep the cows out of this section, which will make life a little bit easier. But I'm going to get a couple more sets out today. Didn't have anything today, but did catch 2 squirrels and a coon in my nuisance jobs. But so we got something to skin. Maybe we'll pick us up it's supposed to rain, start raining tonight. Big front coming through, so maybe we'll pick something up early tonight as things try to move before the front. If not, hopefully we'll pick some stuff up afterwards though, as stuff moves. I like it. I like to try to have some traps out when a front's coming through, because in my mind, things are going to move before the front. They may lay low while the front and the weather's coming through, and then things pick back up. They get back to moving after the front. As a side note, y'all let me know if you what you think about this. One thing I've been thinking, I've got the Drury Outdoors Deercast app on my phone, and it's got some kind of algorithm, but it's they use that to predict how deer movements may be. So it gives you like from poor to okay, good, great. I think that's about all when it ranks the days. And so I've been kind of watching that and trying to see if there's, if I can tell a correlation between trapline success and ever how because they're using some kind of weather patterns, barometric pressure, something like that to kind of trigger how they're predicting that. And I really think that's a neat idea. Using some kind of looking at the weather patterns and anticipating whether your catches, whether this is going to be a good weekend, need to have some sets out or not. So I don't know, just something I've been thinking about. Let me know what y'all think if you've used that Drury Outdoors Deercast app and seen success or luck with it. Just in my anecdotal, the couple times I've been deer hunting have not been great times. I think one was okay and one was good, but I didn't see anything. Granted, I saw deer on the way on different properties on the way to my stands. That's how it goes. But anyway, if you've had any interaction with that or any feedback from that, let me know. I'd be interested to know. So one thing, if you followed me last year, you know that I was experimenting with Zagger pipe dream style set, where you use the specific pipe dream set actually uses a piece of PVC pipe, but it also uses no dirt covering over the trap, just a grass covering, and it really helps in the waterproofness of a trap. And I was just going to show you one of the things that I kind of learned in doing that last year is if you've got a source for hay, or even, you can see in this field this I think it's probably cut by a hay cutter. That tends to work out better, in my opinion, than grass clippings, at least in my lawn. I don't know how yours is, but you see the grass clippings that I get tend to be kind of, once they dry, they kind of curl and wrap, and I don't know, it's just, I feel like, with this, I can kind of sift it out and spread it out, versus this, it's just, it wants to clump up real bad, and it doesn't it's hard to make it kind of flat and smooth. So that's just my 2 cents there, whether you have to buy a bale, and that hay will last you a long time. Surprisingly, it doesn't require a lot of it. And if you're trapping in fields, it's pretty easy. Like I say, I could scrape up a bunch out here, or if you got a hay barn, the farmers, as they're getting hay, they there's always some that falls around or falls down on the floor that never gets used. It don't take but a minute to scrape up a 5-gallon bucket that'll last you a while. So that's just a little insight that I found in using that hay grass coverings. Is hay clippings or hay tends to do better for me than grass clippings. Talking about donkeys the other day. Check this donkey out. How mean they are. Hang on a second. I am pretty positive that he is killing that calf. He's trying to rip his head off. Trying to get up here and see if I can save it, man. Golly, man. Got him by the scruff of the neck. Oh, buddy, you better get out of here now. That sucker grabbing me by the scruff of the neck. That little feller, where's your mama at? I mean, he was stomping him. Keep an eye on him. He must have been defending his old lady. Look at there. Well, buddy, you better get. I don't know where, but you better get. I don't know, maybe y'all are more cow people than I am. Don't look very good, the turd hanging out down there. It looks like he's walking. Of course, he just got messed up big time. It is good timing though, because there's the farmer feeding the cow, so I might get this thing set.